Welcome back. Before the break, we were talking to our guest today, Dr. Amanullah Shaikh, a consultant psychiatrist. Dr. Amanullah, I know that this is your line of profession, line of specialization. I would like to know, is psychiatric condition specific to children, grown-ups, older persons, new mothers, or is it just same across the board?
Well, I think that's a very good question, very dear to my heart. Um, Let me say that the psychiatric service in this country over the years have changed and improved, and um, we have got lot better psychiatric service. But to develop services, you have to make some categorization. The child mental health is a service that requires multidisciplinary input, and the service has to be extended to the schools, because a child's half of wakeful life is spent in school. So there has to be school-oriented treatment programs and all that. So they has to be categorized in that sort of way. This is children's service, this is adult mental health service, and this is elderly mental health service. Although the conditions seem to run in a sort of milder way in children, in a more severe way in adults, and even more severe way in elderly people. So for the service development, we had to categorize the child mental health, and then adult mental health, and then elderly mental health. I don't know whether I have replied your question or not. They are the diagnostic levels also vary from children to the adult and to the elderly people. Although the theme remains the same, either it is a mental disorder of a psychotic nature or a depressive disorder. It's common in most of the age group, but there are specific issues in children which have to be dealt with in a social, educational level, and also the treatment program will have to be with both at home and at school. This is different for adults. Adults, if they are severely disordered, they will have to be admitted to hospitals. They have to be treated, the severity of their condition, and then the community treatment start. In elderly patients, I think there is a problem about who is looking after the elderly person. So that becomes more focused on looking after them, making them, keeping them safe
from themselves
or harming others, or just wandering off, getting lost, is a big problem with elderly people. So in that way, the three categories of mental health service are different.
So it must be different from country to country, social areas, and also the social status.
You see, when you have brought the subject of country to country, I have been back to Bangladesh, which is a developing country, and the England being a developed country, the prevalence of mental illness is same. Like for instance schizophrenia. There have been studies in 11 countries, including developing country and developed country.
Right.
The incidence of schizophrenia is 1% all over the world. So, but the treatment and the facilities available in this country or in America or more advanced countries are a lot better than perhaps back home. But the awareness of mental health problems are there in Bangladesh. I was surprised to know the media, they deal with these issues, and I have done program in Bangladesh on mental health issues. In fact, NTV program I have done in Bangladesh.
Our mother company in Dhaka.
Yeah.
Great. Dr. Shaikh, I would like to just interrupt here. See, what causes these problems? I mean, the pressure of life, peer pressure, work, domestic problems, environment, weather, season here.
I think again, I mean, coming back to schizophrenia, we still don't know. It's multifactorial. That is the main statement I want to make. It doesn't depend on one factor or one cause. It is a multifactorial. The various causes are involved.
Or is it just we don't know?
I think that is in nutshell, we still don't know. But depression is very much related to environmental conditions and people who are under pressure. I think most of us are under pressure, and we do have the tendency to develop depression quite frequently because of the abnormal stress that we go through. The stress is a big factor both in schizophrenia and in manic depressive psychosis. You know, manic depressive psychosis is a very different thing. People go through highs and also lows.
Yes.
Sometimes they become very high, overjoyed and over the moon.
It sounds like drug abusers.
No. The manic depressive psychosis is the entity. It's not to do with drug abuse. I think overall all mental health patients seem to have drug problem with it.
Right.
So drugs make it worse, but it's commoner with mental health patients to use drugs or to go into drugs. Drug-induced mental illness is also there, that a well person who is hooked with drugs can show symptoms of mental illness.
What are the treatments and to what effect? I mean, we have been talking about it all this time.
Okay. I think the treatment again in mental health have been from very crude treatment, say 100 years ago.
Locking them up.
Locking them up, giving them. Have you heard of straight jacket?
Yeah.
Straight jacket is a kind of dress that you put on so that they cannot move their hands and legs. So straight jacket to the chemical straight jackets, like Largactil, used to flatten people off. it used to help to some extent, but it's the violent patients who used to benefit from those. But there were side effects also. So there is chemical straitjacket. In modern medicine, we have lot more sophisticated antipsychotic medications which can keep schizophrenics functional. Even they go to work and continue. If they keep the medical treatment as a part of their life, they can function quite well. So I haven't answered your question, what causes this? We don't know. I think the stress of life and the relationship difficulties and these things can contribute to depressive illness.
But we can't pinpoint.
We cannot pinpoint. It is again multifactorial. What factors are contributing to a particular person's depression? It's only the psychiatrists who try to discover it and try to find out which factors need to be treated first. And that is why taking history is very important. I think it's an age-old medical medical remedy that you must take a very detailed history.
You have to understand the man.
History taking is the most crucial thing to decide which treatment is appropriate for this particular person at this particular time.
Okay, Dr. Shaikh, it's about time again that we need to have a break, and then when we come back, we'll talk about something more interesting that's very close to your heart, I know. Don't go away, we'll be back soon after this.